In this lesson, for your comprehension notebook, you are going to put information in, reminding you of how we'll use details, make inferences, and monitor our understanding to help us better comprehend what we read. These are our learning goals to keep in mind, remembering that we are defining what an inference is and how we use inferences to make logical conclusions, how we can read closely to find those on the surface or explicit answers, and read closely to go below the surface to find those inferential answers. Then also how we analyze authors' words and use details for evidence to support. In informational text, we'll be doing a lot of these same things as well. Now, one of the things that really helps us is to make predictions. I can make predictions. They are always burning in my mind. They're churning. Schema and connections. Use the clues to wonder like a spell you're under. Okay, not really. But as a good reader, we should be thinking about what's going to happen or what we might be learning about as we read. And we predict. We also connect to what we already know. We activate our schema because our schema is going to grow as we add to it and as we revise or change our information when we learn more. Good readers do this. They do this so that they can confirm and revise as they read. Now, by using our schema and text clues, we can make inferences. Read a text and look for clues. Connect and use my schema. I-N-F-E-R, I-N-F-E-R, I-N-F-E-R. I make meaning when inferring. Inferring is really just drawing a conclusion based on that text evidence and your reasoning. It's like a good guess and sometimes more. Now, in order to do a lot of this, often we have to look closely for details in the text to provide clues or evidence of our thinking. And so this is our details icon to remind us. Looking for details means we're hunting. And again, as a reminder, if the answer is right on the surface, it means we can find it directly in the text. As this thinking continuum goes and we have to go more below the surface with our thinking, we're doing more inferring. Now, another important strategy is monitoring and clarifying. When we were just starting to learn to read, we monitored and clarified by figuring out words and if they made sense when we read them. But now we're moving on to monitor and clarify with our thinking. To monitor or clarify, I pause and think, then reread sentences. It helps me figure out the hard parts or solve confusing problems when I monitor or clarify. Monitor or clarify. You've got to do this to stay on track. We've got to pause and think. We often have to reread. This is what helps us as we examine details that we can infer. Let's take a look at an example. I have this piece of text that I took out of a great book we'll actually read later this year. When the glamorous woman finishes her soft drink, she stands at the register to pay. The porcelain hen is smiling at her, and someone is singing that she would be so nice to come home to. And the combination of these things makes her feel generous. Well, I ask myself several questions. Where is this glamorous woman? What is a porcelain hen, and why is the hen smiling? What does the singing that she would be so nice to come home to really mean? And how are these things making her feel generous? And so I thought a lot about it. Going back into the text, where is she? Well, it talks about her finishing her soft drink and standing at a register to pay. So I'm inferring that maybe she's at a restaurant. I'm looking at the porcelain hen and I'm seeing that porcelain is describing the type of hen. So it's an adjective. And it says the hen is smiling at her. Now, if I go back and I infer that this is happening in a restaurant, I'm thinking that maybe this is some kind of a statue. Why is it smiling? Well, maybe it was painted or built to look that way. Either way, it seems kind of odd, but I get the idea or a mental picture. The singing that she would be nice to come home to, I'm inferring that maybe because it says she's glamorous, she must be very beautiful. And so maybe whoever's singing wishes she were maybe their mom, their wife, or their sister. And then it'd be really nice to have her come or be at their house. Now, this is where I really thought deeply, because it said it makes her feel generous. The two things, well, the smiling of the hen and the singing of someone. Those two things, I'm inferring, might be making her feel really good inside, and so maybe as she's paying, she could be giving a big tip. Just by examining a small piece of text and asking myself questions and then trying to answer those questions, I've dug deeper to the meaning. Now, when we read informational text, we've got our 3 big questions that we can use as prompts to help us really dive in and think as we think about what surprised us in what we read, what things the author thought we already knew, or what challenged, changed, or confirmed what I already knew. These are some great thinking stems to pull out thinking.